Hello there everybody, welcome to the Entertainment Headquarters, your headquarters where we talk all things entertainment, movies, television, news, reviews and more. And right now I've got some mixed feelings about a show that I've not long finished earlier today. And it is the show that came to Disney Plus just today, and it is that of Echo, part of the MCU. But to get to Echo, I want to talk a little bit about the ins and outs leading to Echo. So, as the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was building, Netflix had the rights to a handful of characters and created their own kind of mini universe. We had Daredevil, we had Jessica Jones, we had Luke Cage, we had the Defenders, which was them three. Oh, and Iron Fist. I keep forgetting about Iron Fist. And then we had the Punisher. So Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones and Iron Fist formed the Defenders, like a mini version of like the Avengers, but the Defenders were more grounded, and then you had the Punisher. And what made the Netflix series and that kind of group of characters special is they were more gritty, they were more violent, they were more, you know, it was a much more heavy adult based show. And though their shows had amazing characters, amazing cast and decent stories. And Daredevil, I think it really, you know, made him more popular than he ever been. Charlie Cox is phenomenal, and he also made a return as kind of the character a couple of times within the world of the MCU. He appeared in Spider-Man No Way Home as Matt Murdock, and then he also appeared in the horrendous episode of She-Hulk, which blinded me. It really did. I thought they've taken this character who was a badass, who was grounded, gritty, violent, and a pleasure to watch, to this cartoony version, and I hated it. So it broke me heart in a way that the Disney and Disney Plus had taken what Netflix had done and kind of spoilt it. But then we had a glimmer of hope, because we had the Hawkeye series, which featured the main villain throughout kind of the Defenders phase, which is the Kingpin, playing fantastically by Vincent D'Onofrio. I think that's how you say his name. I'm probably getting it wrong, but it's Vincent D'Onofrio, who is a magnificent actor who's been in a lot of things. And that featured the character of Echo as well. And she was trained and brought up by Kingpin after the, you know, the death of her father. And after the death of her mother, she is recruited by Kingpin, and she was trained to become like an assassin. And then she learned, sorry, spoilers, but she learned at the end of Hawkeye that the Kingpin was responsible for her father's death. And it left you with a cliffhanger where she shoots at King. You hear the gunshot, and you don't know if the Kingpin has been killed or not. Which now leads us to where we are now, the miniseries Echo. And this show is the first under a new title for Disney Plus called The Marvel Spotlight. So the Marvel Spotlight is apparently going to be a show or a set of miniseries in whatever it may end up being, that yes, the characters are based within the MCU, but the events that happen within the Spotlight shows are not going to affect the rest of the story arc that's happening within the MCU. So, as you know, we're in the middle of the multiverse saga. So, all of the films in any series that doesn't have before it Marvel Spotlight will be connected to the overall main story, and anything that's under just Marvel Spotlight is a standalone centered story just within itself that won't have a greater effect or be connected to anything outside of it. Which, I know, it sounds confusing, it is confusing, but hey ho, it is what it is. At least we know whatever the Marvel Spotlight is, it's basically, that's it, that's what you get. And anyway, to move forward, the plot synopsis for Echo is as followed. When I get it up. The origin story of Echo revisits Maya Lopez, whose ruthless behaviour in New York City catches up with her in her hometown. She must face her past, reconnect with her Native American roots, and embrace the meaning of family and community if she ever hopes to move forward. So that is, of course, the plot, and the cast is, and I don't know if I'm saying this lady's name right, Alaqua Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, Devery Jacobs, Charlie Cox is in this. Then we have smaller cast members. We have Cody Lightning, his cousin Biscuit. We then have another great actor, Graham Greene as Scully, Tantu Cardinal as Chula, and you know, there's a host of other characters in this that are side characters that make an appearance, but they are the main characters. And what I found with Echo, first and foremost, off the bat, this is a mixed bag of what I really loved from the Netflix shows, and it's also got a bit of the everyday, you know, what we're used to, Disney Marvel stuff. So the first episode, we see her basically return to her hometown in Oklahoma, and she goes and, you know, she sees a handful of people, but she's still full of anger, she's still full of rage. But she did have in the beginning an alternative motive when she did return to the hometown, because she does discover that, you know, Kingpin, and this is just one of the spoilers, it's just one spoiler I'll give away, has a connection to that town. He still has like the armory where he stores all of his weapons and things there. So she recruits her cousin Biscuit to go after it and blow it up. And that basically sets the tone for the rest of the show, where she's trying to escape from her past. She's trying to heal from everything she's discovered in New York City about the Kingpin being the one who was behind the death of her father. You know, you then see her backstory in a mixture of flashbacks. You see, you know, the tragic events that happened with her mother. You see her then connect with the Kingpin, and you see their relationship grow. So it's a mixed bag of everything that we've kind of seen before in these kind of things, where you see her really struggling not only to basically find her own identity again, but she's also struggling to accept her past, and like it mentions in the plot synopsis, our family heritage of being a Native American, you know, the cultures and the ways, because she's been such drowned in this world of crime and death and gore and brutality for such a long time that she's kind of wasn't brought up with that history because she was taken away from it as a young child. And so you see her slowly trying to let the walls down and reconnect. And of course, the great thing about this with Echo, obviously the character of Maya, she is deaf. So they do use a lot of sign language in this, which I think is very positive. You see people using it. You get to know more about the Native American culture in this. Which great thing I love about Marvel, and I will always give Marvel props for. They're very good at introducing the world to different cultures, different languages, different ways of life in such a positive, positive way. And such, and they've done it with Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther series. They did it with Shang-Chi, and even though I didn't really watch it, I do believe Miss Marvel does the same with, and they even did it with the Eternals with some of the characters there. So, they're very good at doing that, which is always a positive. And, the actress that plays Echo, she, for me, did a phenomenal job of showing the different emotions that she was going through from being, fighting her past, from trying to not allow herself to be overcome with it all. And at the same time as trying to reconnect, you could feel that she was kind of lost. You could see that she was being stubborn. You could feel it all. So, I do believe I try to say her name right. Aquia Cox. I'm probably saying her name wrong and I'm butchering it. But she was, she did a phenomenal job. She's a great actress and she plays Echo beautifully. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, as always. He's as intimidating, as scheming. A pleasure to watch on screen. He truly is. He never ever lets up. He is always delivers in this character, and you can tell he enjoys playing this character. He truly does. And to see more of his relationship, with this character, the development of the character, he's kind of hold over her and the manipulation over her, and to see her overcome that and kind of become her own person throughout the arc of the show. They were great. The chemistry between her and him was outstanding. Some of the side characters I didn't really have much, of a way of caring for or a bond with. They were more or less just there to work with the two main stars. The two other actors that I did really enjoy in this was, of course, Graham Greene, who plays kind of a shopkeeper. He has like a pawn shop, but he also has like a gift shop. It's a repair shop. He sells a lot of the Native American souvenirs and products, as well as he repairs things for people. And he has a backstory with Echo's grandmother, who they were dating at one point, and the actress Tantu Cardinal, who plays Chula, she was phenomenal in this as well. She really was. You could really see, she played the kind of hard exterior grandmother right in the beginning, who has her walls up because she's still suffering a lot of pain and hurt from a situation that was out of her control. And then you basically see throughout the course them walls as well on her go down as well. But the good stuff about this show is you see glimmers of hope when it comes to what we all loved about the Netflix shows. There is some amazing action sequences in this show. The first episode starts with a bang when you see flashbacks of her in her training when she was younger with the Kingpin. Then you see elements throughout the show. There's a train sequence full of action. There's the warehouse sequence that's interesting. And then those are what spark, the desire for me to want to watch this, is to get back to the amazing action that we had from Netflix. And my eyes lit up at the beginning of the episode after you see, the Disney logo and the Marvel Spotlight logo. You see a warning saying that this show will, be featuring violence, and I'm thinking, oh, bring it on, bring it on. And then the first few episodes are fantastic, but then it does start to go down a bit of a slow decline by series end. And just when I was expecting some sort of epic final confrontation between Echo and Kingpin, who he's still trying to manipulate her, he's still trying to control her and get inside her head, and she's throughout the show is like learning about herself and growing and trying to heal herself. They come to clash at the end, and I was expecting some sort of epic battle, and unfortunately that is not what I got. So the end episode for me was a bit of a letdown. I'm not gonna lie, I was very much disappointed, but that was the end of this series. I'm hoping that we will see more of Echo, and that if the Marvel Spotlight is a new, standalone shows and standalone episodes and whatever it's going to end up being, I hope we're going to go more down this route, and we're going to continue delivering shows like this that has a mixture of the classic Disney Marvel kind of elements, as well as the nitty gritty, darker, violent and bloodier tones that Netflix provided with. Because I think it's a good mixture to have great storytelling with a reasonably good plot, with convincing characters, but mixing it with more grounded, with a bit of groundedness and a bit more of the nitty gritty blood and violent and amazing action. Because there's that many films coming out or have been out in the past, future and present, that have the over the top action, have the over the top storylines and storytelling, not just in the MCU, not just in the the DC extended universe, but in the Monsterverse films, in the Fast and the Furious. So it's nice to come back down and have something more grounded and much more like amazing, more realistic storytelling, with an emotional story of redemption, discovery. And there were parts of this that really fascinated me, which was learning about the Native American culture, as well as seeing her backstory and how all the ties and the heritage of Echo and the women, especially the women throughout her, I would say, lineage, which is important to the story. There is one character that made an appearance in this I was happy to see, and that is probably my favourite sequence of the show, is to see this character make a return. And after that, that's when each episode after that seems to slow down till the final stop at the end, the last episode. There's only 5 episodes, and even though it's 5 episodes, it hits the spot for the story it's meant to be telling. It hits the spot when it comes to the action. It hits the spot on, the actors are believable. They deliver amazing performances. And like I say, Vincent D'Onofrio, honestly, he is just superb in this. He's superb in all of the Marvel stuff he's been to. And this is just another stellar performance from him. And it has lit an interest and want to see more Echo as well, because we've seen just a glimmer of her in Hawkeye, and this was her origin or her redemption story. Now that she's had that, where do you take the character next? Do you just do another standalone series, or do you eventually add that to the MCU? But as you've seen throughout the films, they're kind of building like the Young Avengers. There's a lot of younger superheroes that are coming up and are getting together. So they're clearly forming, hopefully, a team of Young Avengers. And it'll be interesting to see where they take that. But this, for me, was a mixture of what we've seen before with Marvel, but with the added goodness of what the Netflix shows brought to it in the past. I could have had a little bit more of the Netflix stuff over the Disney stuff, but it gave me this tiny glimmer of hope of good things to come from Disney and the MCU. If they keep this up, and hopefully that is what this new Disney Spotlight is for, is to do things like this nature, to give best of both worlds to what fans love about the superheroes and the Marvel and all that. We love, we're amazing Marvel superheroes, but we're also like, we're grounded, darker, action as well. And the great thing about Daredevil and the Defenders had brought all of that. And Echo was a glimmer of hope that we're going to get more of that in the future. And for me, it worked. I did enjoy Echo more than I thought I was going to enjoy Echo. And for that, I'm going to give this a rating of 6 out of 10. And I think that's a fair rating for Echo. Like I said before, it had a mixture of the things I love from Netflix. Some really grounded, gritty, dark, bloody action. It had, history, lineage, culture in this. It had amazing performances by the two leads. And like I say, number 4, it's opened the door for us to get more of this. And that's what I would like to see. I would like to see a mixture of the good, over-the-top stuff with Marvel, but I would like to see more of me gritty, grounded, solid stuff as well from Marvel going forward. And this potentially could be where we're headed next. So, yes, Echo was really well done. So, 6 out of 10. Let me know what you thought of Echo. Let me know what you thought of the show. Was it gritty enough for you? Was it bloody enough for you? Was it a disappointment? I'd like to know. Or did you actually enjoy Echo? But for me, it was, like I say, it's opened the door. And I don't want them to shut the door. I want them to keep the door open. And I want them to deliver more of things of this nature going forward. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed this review. And I'll see you at the next one.